Well, American voters may soon be required to furnish a birth certificate or a passport before casting their vote. And we're talking about the SAVE Act headed to the Senate. Supporters call it a common sense guardrail, saying you should have to prove you're a citizen to vote. Critics warn this could throw up new barriers for millions of Americans, including low-income voters, the elderly, students, and women who have changed their names after marriage. Is this election integrity or voter suppression? NewsNation correspondent Mills Hayes joining us live with more. Mills, break this all down for us.
Natasha, some Republicans argue you need an ID to drive a car, travel an airplane, or buy alcohol, so why should voting be any different? But in most states, you don't need to prove U.S. citizenship to get a driver's license, and you don't need one to get on a plane or buy alcohol. Still, Republicans say that this could cut down on alleged voter fraud, but Democrats, they're not buying it. The Save America Act would require Americans to prove they're citizens when they register to vote using documents like a U.S. passport or a birth certificate. It also requires a valid photo ID before voters can cast a ballot. Republicans argue that the bill would prevent voter fraud. President Trump even accusing Democrats of not supporting voter ID because they want to cheat in the elections.
The very common sense requirement that you have a photo ID if you're going to vote. So that's it. That's what the bill does. Proof of citizenship and photo ID to vote.
But Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer vows that he will not let the bill pass in the Senate.
What they are proposing in this so-called SAVE Act is like Jim Crow 2.0. They make it so hard to get any kind of voter ID that more than 20 million legitimate people, mainly poorer people and people of color, will not be able to vote under this law. They don't want people of color to vote because they often don't vote for them.
The latest polling shows that 83% of Americans support requiring a photo ID to vote, including more than 70% of Democrat-leaning voters. Each state's voting laws are different, but 36 states already require some sort of ID to vote. 14 states and D.C. don't require ID documents and allow people to confirm their identity by signing an affidavit or poll book, providing personal details, or swearing to their eligibility. Nonprofit Headcount helps register young people to vote at concerts or music festivals and says that the act will make it more difficult for Americans to vote.
There are about 69 million Americans who do not have ready access to their birth certificate. Almost half of all Americans don't have a passport. And so we're starting to rely on some of these materials that are just not accessible for most Americans who are eligible voters. They're here legally.
And critics argue it would hurt low-income voters and female voters who are more likely to change their name after getting married, which means more paperwork.
Like sometimes you got to go in person, you got to take time off of work, days that you maybe can't take off of work, trying to get somebody on the phone and you're on hold for 8 million years.
And for mail-in ballots, the act would require people to submit a copy of an eligible ID when requesting and casting an absentee ballot. That would also require proof of citizenship. Now, President Trump hinting at a potential executive order posted on Truth Social that there will be voter ID for midterm elections, whether approved by Congress or not. And Natasha, bills like this have passed in the House before as recent as last year, but they didn't make it through the Senate.
Yeah, we will be watching this. Mills Hayes with that in-studio report. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.